Hello. I want to talk to you about my chickens. I want to tell you how to make a chicken coop. I want to explain to you the experiences that I've had over the last 2.5 years with my chickens, thinking maybe it will help you. I've learned in my adventures with chickens is that there's no one right way to build a chicken coop. There are all kinds of chicken coops. But I want to show you what I did with my chickens, thinking it might give you some ideas that would be helpful to you. I don't speak as an expert. You may have different ideas about it. If after seeing this brief video you have any questions, feel free to email me at tmurphy941@aol.com, and I'll be happy to tell you what I know about it. We bought our chickens from a gentleman that lives nearby. He had bought them as little bitties and raised them for several months, and when they were about to reach laying age, he sold them. We paid him $10 a piece for these 12 chickens that we have, and I think it was a good deal. We got 3 types: the Rhode Island Red, we got the Plymouth Rock, also called the Barred Rock, and we got the Black Sex Link, about a third of each. So we have 12 chickens. We have averaged last year about 7 to 8 eggs per day. Each year your chickens will go into a molting period where they lose a lot of their feathers and they quit laying. And this may last anywhere from a month to 2 months. I don't know. You can check the internet and find out more about that. But then they'll resume laying again. Now, if you're thinking about getting chickens in order to save money, you can forget about it, because it'll cost you more to raise your own eggs than it is to buy them at the store. But in any event, at the store, you don't get the cluck. And we just enjoy the cluck as well as the fresh eggs. We don't have to worry about any chemicals that have been put into the feed to make them lay more eggs. So we like it. We're really enjoying these beautiful creatures that God has given to us. Now, I'm going to pick up the camera and give you sort of a travelogue as we go along. And first, let me tell you that the yard that I built is 12 feet by 16 feet. And it's 4 feet high, and it's adequate. The birds, the chickens, generally don't try to jump out. They can. They could fly out easily, and every now and then one will accidentally get out, but they don't run off. They want back in their yard. So this size yard is adequate for a dozen chickens. And you can see my beautiful little chickens here. This is the water that I give to them, and they drink lots of water. This big bucket, they could empty that easily in 3 days. Now, I live in north of central Mississippi, so sometimes the water does freeze. Usually, when it does freeze, I can come out and break the top of the ice off the top, and it'll be adequate. If it's a hard freeze, I will bring water out from the house several times a day until the weather moderates. Now, this house I designed out of the amount of lumber that I was able to salvage from a neighbor that was throwing away some cedar lumber. You can find people that have torn down an old cedar fence and probably salvage enough lumber out of that to build this kind of a house. The house is 4 feet by 8 feet floor space. It's built on a big sheet of plywood, and it's about 45 inches high. I designed it so that there was an open door all the time. Then when I need to go in, I open this door, and I keep their food on the inside. And I built them some ladders, and I built them a roost And all of this has worked out just beautifully. I was really surprised that it came out so well. Now I've got 4 nests on the side, and I built this roof with from some corrugated plastic sheeting that I got from Lowe's, and it has worked out really, really good. Now I'm going to have to set this down to raise the roof. This is how I gather my eggs. I built it so that it hinged on one side, and I was able to lift it up on this side, and I have a little block that I stand on when I gather eggs, and I look down to see if we have any eggs, and I check, and lo and behold, here are 4 beautiful eggs. Now it's about mid-afternoon here, so they'll probably lay another 2 or 3 for today. Some days we gather, this year we're gathering anywhere minimum of 2 to 3 eggs, maximum up to 10 eggs. So it's averaging out about 6 to 7 eggs per day this year. I use this scraper that I built to gather up the chicken mess that's on the floor. I do it every morning. I use sawdust that I got from a friend who runs a lumber mill, and these wood shavings and sawdust are an excellent place for chickens to run around. It's very easy to clean, but I do it every day. When I scoop it up in this container that I have down here, like that one, I reach over and I dump it into this bucket here. Then after the bucket gets about half full, I pull it out and take it over to a place on the other side of the yard where I stockpile it, and I'm using it as a fertilizer. Now, let me check my list and see if I've forgotten anything. Just hang on just a second. The eggs for these 3 types of chickens are yellow, and most of them are large eggs. Some of them are smaller than others. Oh yes. One day we had a dog, a big dog came up on the property. And normally you don't see dogs because it's against the law in Columbus to let your dogs free run, but sometimes they get loose. So I built an electric fence around this big fence in order to discourage any predatory animals from coming in. So I think this just about concludes my crash course and how to raise chickens and how to build a chicken coop. And I hope you great success in your adventure. And I would just like to say, Jesus loves you, and thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.